Medicare is banned from paying for weight loss drugs. That ban is written into federal law and it is still on the books today. And starting July 1st, 2026, Medicare is going to pay for Zepbound and Wegovy at $50 a month. Both of those are true at the same time, and I'll show you exactly how. I know they're both true because I'm on Medicare, and when I went looking for this drug, Medicare couldn't touch it. I had to go through the VA instead. So today, we sort out what actually changed, what's real, what's a scam, and which door is yours. Here's who this one is for. Vets on Medicare right now, vets who got on Medicare before 65 through disability like me, and that's a bigger group than anybody talks about. Vets who are a few years out from 65, and anybody helping a parent or a spouse make sense of this. And one more. If you're a vet with no VA healthcare at all, and roughly half of us aren't in that system, then Medicare isn't your backup plan. It's your only plan. This episode is especially for you. Quick version on me. I'm a 58-year-old service-disabled Air Force vet on Medicare through disability with VA healthcare and about a month into Zepbound that I got through the VA. So when I talk about both doors today, understand I'm standing in both of them. Episodes 1 and 3 are that story, linked below. Ground rules. I'm not a doctor, not your doctor, and not a benefits counselor. This is one vet reading the actual rules out loud. Confirm your own situation with your plan or with free Medicare counseling before you act on any of it. And one housekeeping note before we start. Every website and phone number I bring up today is linked down in the description. You don't have to write a single thing down, just listen and it'll all be there waiting when you are. Deal? Deal. Let's go. So to understand the July 1st, 2026 news, you have to understand the rule it's sitting on top of. So here it is. Medicare Part D, the drug benefit, is not allowed to cover a drug used only for weight loss. That's not a plan rule, and it's not a budget choice somebody made this year. It's written into federal law, and only Congress can undo it for good. Keep that in the back of your pocket because it's the key to everything else today. So then how is your buddy already getting Ozempic covered by Medicare? That's a fair question, and here's the answer. It's not about the drug, it's about the reason it's prescribed. Part D will cover these GLP-1 drugs, the Ozempic and Zepbound family, when they're written for an approved condition that isn't weight loss. Right now, there are 4 of those lanes. Type 2 diabetes, heart risk, where Wegovy got approved to lower the odds of a heart attack or stroke, obstructive sleep apnea, which is the exact Zepbound approval episode 2 was about, and the newest one, a liver condition they call MASH. If your prescription is written for one of those, you already have a Medicare lane today. That was the whole map, right up until this summer. Now there's a new lane and it's temporary, and the rules on it are very specific, so let's walk through it slowly. It's called the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge, and here's how it actually works. First, the calendar. It runs from July 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2027. That's the window. It is not a law. It is not permanent. It's a temporary program with an end date already printed on it. What it covers, and let's be precise, Wegovy, both the shot and the new tablets, Foundeo, which is the new one, and Zepbound, but only the quick pen. The single dose Zepbound pens and the vials are not in this program. That one's personal for me because the pen I inject every Saturday isn't on the list. If I wanted to use the bridge, my doctor would have to move me over to the quick pen first. So if you're on the single dose pen, like a lot of us, know that going in. The cost, $50 flat every month on a drug Medicare negotiated down to $245 a month, and that's a drug that runs a whole lot more than that at the counter with no coverage. $50 no matter where you are in your Part D year, who qualifies. The whole thing runs on BMI, body mass index, and that's just a number you get from your height and your weight. It's a blunt tool. It can't tell muscle from fat, which anybody who's watched my DEXA numbers already knows. But it's the ruler this program uses, so it's the one that counts here. There are 3 tiers, and you only need to land in one of them. Tier 1 is a BMI of 35 or higher, and that's all by itself. Tier 2 is a BMI of 30 or higher if you've also got heart failure, high blood pressure that 2 medications aren't controlling, or kidney disease. Tier 3 is a BMI of 27 or higher if you've got prediabetes, a prior heart attack or stroke, or peripheral artery disease. You have to be 18 or older, and your doctor puts you on a diet and activity changes as part of the prescription. Now here's the rule almost nobody is going to tell you, and it's the most reassuring one in the whole program. Your BMI is measured from when you started the drug, not from the day the paperwork gets filled. That's CMS's own example. You started a year ago at a BMI of 37, you're down to 34 now, you still qualify. Read that back. Losing the weight does not lose you the coverage, and here's who can't use the bridge. If your GLP-1 is prescribed for diabetes, for sleep apnea, or for that liver condition, you're in the regular Part D lane we just talked about, and the bridge is closed to you, even if your BMI would qualify. 1 lane per person decided by the reason on the prescription. That's not a punishment. If you've got the diagnosis, you already have a coverage lane. The bridge is built for the vets who don't. Last piece, and it's the part that trips people up, there is no sign up. The program runs outside your normal Part D benefit through one central processor, and your doctor files a prior authorization. You do have to be in a Medicare drug plan, but there's no enrollment form, no card to buy, no fee. Hold on to that, because in a couple of minutes it's going to matter. And the honest catch, no drama on it, it ends December 31st, 2027. After that, it's gone, unless it gets extended again or replaced with something permanent. I'll show you exactly where that stands in a minute. So if you start, put the end date in your plans, not just the start date. Now, the thing that's all over the internet, you've probably already seen it. A law passed Medicare covers GLP-1s for weight loss now, permanently. Done deal. That is false. The ban I told you about is still right there on the books. The bridge is a temporary program sitting on top of it with that 2027 end date. Anybody telling you it's permanent is handing you a budget you can't actually count on. One related mix-up while we're here. There was a bigger Medicare plan, the Balance model, and its drug coverage piece got shelved back in April. So if you land on a site saying, quote, Medicare Balance launches 2027, unquote, that page is out of date. So does this ever become permanent? Extending it again, that part Medicare can do on its own, and they already did it once. But making it permanent is a different animal. That takes an act of Congress. Because the ban is written into law, there is a bill, the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act. It's got support from both parties, and right now it's sitting in committee, not passed. And the honest holdup isn't politics, it's the price. The Congressional Budget Office puts the cost of covering these drugs at around $35 billion over the next 10 years, and nobody has settled on how to pay for it. So I won't tell you it's coming, and I won't tell you it's dead. Here's the truth. Right now there's a bridge, and nobody has built the other side of it yet. Plan for the bridge you've got. Here's the habit I want to leave you with. Instead of a lecture, 3 places that don't lie to you about your coverage. CMS.gov, that's Medicare's own agency. KFF, an independent health policy nonprofit. And no, that's not the Kaiser Insurance Plans. It's a separate research group. And the Medicare Rights Center, a nonprofit that helps people work through Medicare. All 3 are linked below, like I promised. If a claim about your benefits isn't on one of those 3, treat it as a rumor until it is. And even if the true version doesn't mean what you'd think for us, sleep apnea is one of the most common diagnoses in the veteran community. More than 600,000 vets draw VA disability for it, partly because our rating system actually gets us tested. So follow the rule with me. A vet whose Zepbound is written for sleep apnea is in the Part D lane, not the bridge. And what they pay rides on their plan's formulary with no $50 guarantee. If that's you, the words to write down are formulary exception, and your doctor files it. But the rule runs on the diagnosis. So a vet who never got the sleep study walks into the $50 program clean. I'm not telling you to skip the study. Untreated apnea does damage no copay will ever buy back. I'm telling you to know your lane before July, not standing at the pharmacy counter. So let's talk about the 2 doors, because I've stood in front of both of them. I've got VA care and I've got Medicare. A lot of you only have one of those, and I don't forget for a second. When I decided to start a GLP-1, this bridge didn't exist yet. So for weight loss, the Medicare door was basically locked. The VA door had its hoops, the criteria for use, case-by-case review, and the MOVE program, but it was the door that opened for me. Episodes 1 and 3 are that whole story. The VA lane in about 30 seconds for everybody who isn't me. For diabetes, it's covered without much fuss. For weight loss, it's non-formulary, which means a prior authorization with clinical justification, reviewed case by case, and a lifestyle program like MOVE is usually part of the deal. The bar is a BMI of 30 and up or 27 and up with a weight-related condition, and unlike the bridge, the VA door has no expiration date on it. So would I switch doors now that the bridge is here? I actually ran my own numbers, and I'm on a Medicare Advantage plan with drug coverage, which is an eligible plan type. So that box is checked, and I'm still not switching. My Zepbound through the VA cost me $0. The bridge is $50 a month. It would mean switching to a pen I'm not on, and the whole thing shuts off at the end of 2027, as far as we know. For me, the math isn't close, but I had to actually do the math, and so do you, because your numbers aren't my numbers. And here's how tight these rules run. My starting BMI was within a pound of the 35 cutoff. 1 pound, one side of the line or the other. On the day you start, that's why your doctor's scale matters more than mine. One more and it's the kicker. Remember that sleep apnea rule from a minute ago? I've got that diagnosis on my chart from before the central apnea some of you know about from episode 2. So the way I read the rule, that $50 door probably isn't even mine to open. Locked out 3 different ways: the diagnosis, the pen I'm on, and a price I already can't beat. I'm not mad about it, but picture finding all of that out standing at the counter in July. That's the whole reason we read the rules first. Okay, 3 things you can actually do before July 1st. 1, find out if you're in a plan the bridge even works with. That's either a standalone Part D drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan with drug coverage. Not sure which one you've got? One free call to 1-800-MEDICARE, that's 1-800-633-4227 will tell you, and so will your local SHIP counselor. SHIP is the State Health Insurance Assistance Program. It's free, one-on-one Medicare help that every state runs, and they're not selling you a thing. That number and the SHIP locator are both down in the description. 2. Get the clinical side documented now. Your BMI on the record, and if you're in that 27 to 34 range, the qualifying conditions your doctor would write down. Everybody is going to flood their doctor's office right around July 1st. Get ahead of it. 3, and this one's a shield. Nobody legitimate is going to charge you to enroll. Because there is no enrollment. There no fee, no card, no sign-up site. If a person or a website wants money to get you into the bridge program, they're stealing from you. Plain as that. Do me a favor and tell another vet that one. So here's my question for you. If you're on Medicare or you're getting close, is the bridge something you'd use? And what's the one thing you'd need answered before you did? Put it in the comments. I read every one, and the best questions turn into episodes. And the one straight ask before I go, a like, a comment, a share is how YouTube decides whether the next vet typing Medicare Zepbound into the search bar finds a straight answer or finds the site claiming a law passed. Nobody else is going to point them the right way. You can. It takes 2 seconds. We don't leave our own behind. That didn't stop when you took off the uniform. I'll see you in the next one.